Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of custom widget development with Elementor. Today we will create a preview card widget. So let's see the demo first. This is the preview card that we're gonna build. It has a image at the top, and beneath there is a title and some description. There is an action button, and you can use a price tag here or a sale tag here. So there are some custom positions for this tag. You can add on the top of the card, you can add at the middle of the card, you can add at the bottom of the card besides the buy button. So there are some variations as well. So we are going to create this preview card, and we are going to convert it into an Elementor widget. Now if you want to see how this has been created with the HTML and CSS, you can also check that out at the top of the suggested videos. I have a link for this also. Also, I will add the link in the description if you just want to copy and paste the DOM structure and the styling of it. So let's get into the business and let's head back to the code editor. Now let's open the widgets folder, and here as you can see we do have a file example.php. Now we can rename it. So let's do like preview card.php, and let's inside there, and let's change it from example widget to preview card widget, and let's also change it at the bottom. Let's put it like this, and also let's change this example into preview card. Let's change the title also, preview card widget, and the rest of the things should be okay. Still, let's recheck. Alright, this should be okay. But before that, hence we are using grunt, so let's open our integrated terminal. You can use normal CMD, or if you have the git bash, you can also use that. So let's run the grunt default. So that will start watching our changes. For some reason it didn't run, so let's try it again. Alright, it's running now. And before that, let's also check out whether our scripts are running all right or not. So let's go back to the source, and this is the CSS, and this is the JS file that we have generated. All right, so let's check from here. Let's say console.log, let's say from custom Elementor or something like that, doesn't matter, and let's close it here. All right, so now let's go back into the my Elementor widget and scroll down a bit. So this is where we have registered our scripts. So we registered our scripts from asset/dist/js, then public.main.js. So let's go into the dist.js and click on public.main.js. So as you can see, our console log has been printed here. So now let's go back into the admin area, and let's try to go into the front end so we can check our script whether it is running or not. So let's inspect it. Now let's go into the console, and there's nothing showing, but I know why it is not showing, because we have changed the preview card PHP name, but we haven't update it into the my Elementor widget. So let's go there and scroll down a bit in where we have initialized our widgets here. So we can do preview card.php, and now let's go back and hit refresh. Maybe cached, so hit refresh again. So as you can see from custom element, so the message has been showing. That means our script is initialized correctly. So let's also check with the CSS as well. So let's go into the source and public.css, and let's try to body display none. So let's hit refresh, and as you can see, we are not seeing the DOM here. So our CSS has also been working nicely. So now let's open our preview card again, and let's integrate our DOM here. So this is the place where we actually put our HTML, so that Elementor can preview that into their widget area. So I'm just copying and pasting in order to save the time. So this is the DOM that with that we're going to work on it. So this is the DOM. It's a pretty simple DOM. I do have a a wrapper div here with the image card class, and then we do have an image section where I have added the image as a background and inline style. I will explain why I'm doing this like that. And we do have an image. It's a local URL. It might not appear, but we will make it dynamic. There is a link. If we hover on it, we will have a hover link here. We do have a top price badge tag, and then we do have a content area where we do have title, a divider, and excerpt div, and a call to action button. So this is the simple DOM that we have. And finally, let's copy and paste the CSS as well, so we do not have to write all this stuff. I do have a link of that, so you can watch that out. So let's go into the public.css and let's hit a comment like preview card style. All right, so there's the style. So let's hit save. So these things are pretty basic styles, so I think you can understand easily when you just go through with it. I'm not explaining it anyway. So let's head over into the backend and let's try to hit refresh here, and let's go back into the pages, some of the pages, and let's try with the test Elementor, edit with Elementor, and let's scroll down a bit, and we'll find our preview card widget. So let's close these extra layers. Let's try to drag and drop here, or before that let's try to add some sections like this. So 3-column section, and then we can add our preview card here. So let's just grab it here. So as I have said, that image might not appear, but we will make it dynamic. So as you can see, our DOM has been appeared and the style also has been integrated. So now we will make this widget, or make this widget's content dynamic and convert it into a reusable Elementor widget. So let's go back into the code editor and start adding our controls here. So first thing first, what we need to deal with the image section first. So let's create a image settings section first. So let's change it from content to image settings, and let's say image section. Let's just say image. All right, so now if you hit refresh and click on that, you will say the image setting is showing here. All right, so we are good to go now. So first what we need to add an image control here. So let's go back to the Elementor developers.elementor.com/Elementor controls, and let's find out the control that we are gonna need, and the control should be media. So there's the documentation, so we can just copy from there. This is the control we need, and let's paste it here. And before that, let's add a comment. All right, so this is the control, so we can keep the name image here. So we can also keep choose image here, and if there is no image, then get placeholder image src will fetch a default Elementor image. So I think we are good to go with this control. So let's check that out in backend. Hit refresh, and as you can see, our choose image control has appeared, and if there is no image, by default there will be an Elementor placeholder image. Alright, so let's implement our image control value into our display widget. So let's go back into the code editor, and this is our key. So we can say like settings here. Alright, so with this variable we are grabbing all the values that are going to coming from those controls. So let's change this here. Let's add a PHP tag, and to like echo URL, we're skipping the URL, and settings is the variable, and our key was image, and it does have an URL. Now from where I have founding this, if you go and scroll down a bit, you will find that when you use image, you do have a extra key with the name of URL, and with that you can fetch the image URL. So I'm just following this documentation from the Elementor official documentation. So that should be it. So let's check that out, and if we go into the backend and hit refresh now, as you can see, the image is appearing here. So let's try with a different image. Let's try with this one, and the image is appearing. So let's try with a better image. Okay, let's upload from my local folder. Alright, so I have added some images from my computer. So let's select this image and insert media, and as you can see, the image is appearing nicely. Now the next thing I want to add is to whether I want to add the hover link on top of the image or not. So let's add a switch control for this. So let's head over into the Elementor control and find for the switch. There it is, switcher. So let's grab the switcher control from here, just copy it, and let's head back to the code editor and just add a comment, show image link, and paste it here. So we are gonna say this to show image link, and also change to show image link, and the level will be show and hide. The return value will be yes, and the default will be yes. So by default we want to show the image linkable. Alright, so the next thing should be the link. So let's head over again and search for the URL, or here it is. So let's open it, and let's grab the control from here, go back to the code editor, and let's add a comment. Okay, image link. Alright, so let's change to website link to image link, and let's say image link here as well, and let's put the other things same as it is. So let's go back to the code editor backend and hit refresh, and let's see what changes. So as you can see, two more controls here. One is for show image link, and another is for image link. But it will be good practice if when it is the show image link is enabled, that means the value is show, then only we want to show this control as well. So when we just close it, we want to hide it. So how we can do that? So it's pretty easy. So we want to show this field conditionally, so we can add one more thing here, condition, and it is an array. So inside there we want to use the value of this key. So if its value is yes, only and only then we want to show this control. So when it is yes, then we just want to show it. So let's hit refresh, and now if we hide it, as you can see the control is going out, and when we click on show, then it is appearing again. Alright, so now let's implement this link into this widget. So let's go back into the code editor and copy this key, and what we can do here, we can change this one to echo esc URL settings and then the key, and it does also have similar to the image. We can also use this one in order to get the URL. So we can also check the documentation from here. If we see that with the settings and website key, and then we can use this URL key here. So this will add the link here. So let's verify that. Hit refresh, and let's put http example.com, and if you can hover over, if you see at the bottom of my screen in the left corner, you will see example.com. so it is adding, but the image URL or the URL does have two more extra things. If we click on this gear, as you can see, open in a new window and add no follow. If you want to add these two attributes as well, so what you need, if you go to the documentation, as you can see, when you are using URL, we can use these two like that. Target settings website is external. If it is, then we are gonna add these attributes target blank, and similar to no follow, if it is checked, then we are gonna use rel no follow. So we can copy this to URL from here, and let's go back into the code editor and paste it here, and we can change with accordingly with our widget. So we can say image target and image no follow, and now what we can do, we can add after the href, sorry, should be PHP tag, we can say echo image target, and also what we can do, just copy this portion and paste it here, and we can say image no follow. So what this will do, this will add two more extra things. So let's check that. If we hit refresh, alright, it is website link. Oops, we should also change with this key and keep the code standard. Alright, so let's hit refresh here again, and if we just hit on preview and click on inspect, and as you can see, this target blank and rel no follow has been added. Now what the next thing I want to do, let's say the user do not want to add any image link here. So if he hits on this, but still the image link is showing here, but it shouldn't be. So let's deal with that. So let's head over into the code editor, and let's grab the key. This is the key, show image link. So what we can do, this is the link that we are gonna want to show conditionally, so we can add a conditional statement here. So we can say if the value is yes to equal to settings of this key, only then we are gonna show this DOM. So let's end if here. So that should be it. So let's check that out. So now if we hit refresh, and as you can see, when the image link is hide, the value is hide, it is not even showing the link. So when we click on it, then it is showing. So it is pretty cool, and user does have some sort of flexibility. So I think we are done with the image settings section. So now let's move on to the content section. We'll deal with the batch separately. So let's go into the content. Now let's go back to the code editor and create a separate content section. So let's copy this one and let's duplicate this, paste it here, and let's say content settings. Let's say content section and the content. So it will create a new content section. Now let's deal with the title first. So for the title, what we need a text type of control. So let's go back to the Elementor document. Let's close this out. So let's search for the text control. So here it is, and let's grab this code from here, go back to the code editor, and let's say title. And what we can say card title. Let's keep the title here. Let's say default title, type your title here. So everything seems okay, but we want to add another key here for the label block and set to true. What this will do, this will take the enter place and keep the and make the label to display block, so it looks nicer at that way. So let's check that out into the backend and hit refresh. So this is the content section, and as you can see, there is the title section, that where you can put the title. So let's implement that as well. All right, so let's copy this one from, and let's go at the bottom. This is the title. So let's do like PHP echo settings and the key. So it should appear, it should show the default value first. So there it is, the default title. Now we can change it like hanging lamp with the tiny wire. All right, so as you can see, our title is working nicely. The next thing I want to implement is, if you can see closely, there is a divider just under the title. So we just want to show or hide. So let's implement that. It should be a switcher as before. So let's just implement that. So I've just copied and let's paste it here. So this is our show divider, and this is the title, same as before. So let's implement that. So let's copy this one and this. Let's find out the divider. This is the divider div. So let's add an if condition here. So if the value is yes, and then settings, and the is show divider. So if the show divider value is yes, we just want to show it, otherwise not. Alright, so let's check that out. Hit refresh again. So if we just click on that, as you can see, the divider is now gone. So if we click on show, the divider is come back again. Now the next thing is content. So let's also add that. Now for the content, we just do not want to add just a text area. We want to add a tiny MCE type of editor. So Elementor also supports that. So let's go and search for that. This one we want. So let's click on that and just copy this one. Alright, so let's go back to the code editor and let's place it here. Content, let's put it here. Let's keep the item description name. This looks good. And the other things, I think it's okay. So now let's implement that. Copy the item description key and let's go into there. This is the excerpt. So let's remove this one. So do like that, echo settings and the key name. So that should be okay. Let's go back to the code editor and hit backend and hit refresh. As you can see, default description is here. And let's check with some default value, or try to add some custom value, I should say. As you can see, it is coming into the normal again. So if we hit update, that will stay like this. Now that's done. Now let's deal with the batch settings. So let's go back into the code editor and create another separate section for the batches. So let's copy this settings section. Let's duplicate this one and let's say batch section, batch settings. So let's say batch section, like this. Alright, so let's add batch here. But before implementing those, let's go back into the front end, and actually we do have 3 positions that I have explained to you, that the top batch and the middle batch and the bottom batch, but we just have the top DOM right now. So let's add those DOMs as well. So we can just go back and just copy this one, and you can just put it here. And I do have a class, so I can just change from top to middle like this, and it should appear at the front. Okay, I think I misspelled something. Let's check that out. It should be one less D. So as you can see, the price is now at the middle, but we do also have a DOM, so at the bottom just besides the buy now button. So I have a class like bottom. Now all this CSS is coming from there. So if we scroll down a bit, you can see like this one, bottom price and the middle price. So these styles has already been written into the public.css, so don't worry about that. So now if we go there and hit refresh, now you can see that 3 positions is visible now. Now what I want to do is to give user the control for all those trees. So user can use 3 of them, and he might change the label according to his requirement. So he can use just 1 or 2 or 3 by his requirement. So let's go back into the backend and let's scroll up. Here let's add a switch statement. So let's go back into the Elementor documentation and go into the switcher control and copy the controller code. Go back to the backend or code editor, I should say, and let's say top batch, and let's paste it here. We can say show top batch badge and also show top badge, and let's keep it like that. And we can just copy and paste. This one should be middle and show middle, and let's put another for the bottom. Alright, so now if we go and hit refresh, so as you can see the batch section has been added, and there is 3 controls now: show top batches, show top batch, show middle batch, and show bottom batch. Alright, so now what we want to do before implementing this, we just want to finish with this control settings. We also want to give the user the ability to change this text as well. So we also do need a text control. So let's grab the code from here again, go back to the code editor, and let's put under this one, let's add a comment. Let's say top batch text, and let's say top batch text, and also here. Now similarly as before, we want to show this field conditionally. So if show top batch is enabled or showing, then we just want to show this one. So similarly we can add another condition, and we can do like copy this show top batch and put it here, and if the value is yes, then we just want to show it. So now let's just copy this one and paste it here. Let's say middle, and this should be show middle batch. This also should be middle, and let's do same for the bottom as well. And and this should be bottom as well. Alright, so let's go into the front end and check that out. So as you can see, 3 has been added. So if we just close this one, then the batch text area is also gone. So everything is working nicely. Now let's implement this, and let's just not say default title. Let's put a price tag here. Let's say 19.99. So that will look prettier. Also put it here, and also put it here. So now let's implement this value. So first let's copy this show top batch key and get into the bottom. So if the show batch is enabled, only then we want to show it. So let's add a if statement. So similarly, if yes, settings, and then we just want to show it. And inside that, then we just want to show the text. So you can say echo settings, and the key is top batch text. Alright, so let's check this one whether it is working correctly or not. So let's hit refresh, and this one is showing default title. Sorry, so let's open this one, and if I change it to like 0.89, so it is working nicely. So if I just click on visible, so it's disappearing. So if you click on that, then it is coming, and we can say anything we want. So it's pretty cool. Now let's implement this too as well. So what we can do, actually, just grab this one and totally replace this, because we just want to need just to change this one and the values. So let's do like middle and middle. Alright, so let's do the same with the bottom as well. Just need to change from top to bottom. So show bottom, alright, so let's check that out. Okay, so let's try to change every value, and let's see if it is working or not. Let's say and hit update and hit refresh in order to check whether the value is updating or not. Surely enough, it is updating. So the advantage is now we can just disable the middle one, and we can just say like sale here, and we can just show the price like here. Or what we can do, let's copy this one, we can disable here, we can show it here. And what also we can do, we just disable this one, we can say sale here, and we can disable this one. So there is so much possibilities, so much variation that you can do with it, and also can hit update. Now let's deal with the action button. So let's go back to the code editor and let's copy the section again like this and duplicate this one, paste it here and say button settings. You can say button section and button here. Alright, so the first thing we want to add is the URL or the link. So let's go back. Let's close this one, which is getting longer, and search for the URL. So there it is. So there are a lot of things into the documentation. They're saying that there are some other keys that you can use. So I suggest you to read through all the things, not just copying pasting. Try to understand the documentation. So the better you understand the documentation, the better you can work with any tools. So let's copy and head back, and let's say button link. I paste it here and let's change this to button link, and let's keep like link. And also we need a text area, so let's open this text and copy this from here, go back, and let's put button text, and let's say button text here. Let's say text, and let's change this to from default to pie now. Type your text here. So let's go back and check that out. Hit refresh, and there is a button section, there's a link, and there's a text. So as you can see, if we do not use the label block true, it's gonna show like that. So it's, I guess, okay for a text button, because we do not want, we do not add a larger text into a button. So let's keep it this way. Now let's implement these values into the button. So let's go back, and this is the button link. So this is the button. So let's do like echo. You see, you are always try to escape the URL. It is a good practice. Settings and button link, and we do have a key with the URL. Now, hence this is the URL, so we can also do things like that. So let's just duplicate this, and let's say for button, so for image, what you can say button target, and we can say button no follow, and let's change this to button link. So similarly, what we can do here, we can, after the href, we can say like echo button target, and then echo button no follow. All right, so that should be it. So let's check at the front end. So if we click on that under the button, so there is buy now. So if we say like read more, all right, it is not appearing. I guess we are not dealing with the text yet, so let's try with the link first, example.com. So if we hover over, if you can see at the bottom of my screen at the left corner, it says example.com, exactly what I have typed. So we do need to implement this text. So let's go back, and the key is button text. So let's copy it, and there it is. So let's update this one. Echo settings, and then the button text. So let's go back into the front end again and hit refresh. And now if we change to read more, okay, it is still not updating. So let's check that out. Go back to the code edit. So actually the problem was we just updated it, but we haven't saved the file. So let's save it now, and let's hit refresh, and it should work nicely. So it is, I have just updated it. Now if we just go back to buy now again, so it is updating, as you can see. So if we hit update, it should be remain updated. So for this video I'm going to stop here. In the next video I will show you how you can add style tab in the widget settings panel, and also add dynamic styling with the Elementor controls as well. So until the next video, stay safe and don't forget to subscribe the channel. See you in the next video.